Get away from her, you bitch! Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this review is going to be for the second installment of the Alien franchise. As you all know, I reviewed the first one back in my Halloween horror movie reviews, and I decided to continue on with the series. We're reviewing the Alien sequels first, and before I review Alien vs. Predator, I'll be reviewing Predator 2, leading up to the AVP movies, and then continue on with what came up after the AVP movies. So yeah, I'm going to be finishing off both my Alien and Predator reviews. So with that being said, we know what came next. Around 1979, Alien was released, and it received mixed reviews at first, but has gone on to become one of the best sci-fi horror movies in cinema, and launched Ridley Scott's career. And of course, it went on to feature one of the most frightening characters or creatures in cinema, and that was the alien xenomorph, which I have a figure of. But anyway, around 1986, around 6 years later, a sequel would be finally made. And that sequel proved to be my favorite one in the series, and that is Aliens, directed by James Cameron, the movie that pretty much launched James Cameron's career. Like how the first one launched Ridley Scott's career. But what is this movie about? Well, 57 years after the events of the first film, Ripley, still played by once again phenomenally by Sigourney Weaver, is woken up from their cryo sleep and finds out that LV-426, where she and the Nostromo crew makes contact with the alien that slaughtered them, has been colonized. However, contact with the colony has been lost, and she has been asked to accompany a squad of colonial marines to investigate what happened. But even with their heavy firepower, the colonial marines may not be ready to face the horrors that await them. Yeah. Now let me say, this is easily my favorite installment of the Alien franchise. The reason why is because I like how this film combines horror and action into one, which to me is very creative. So people can say they like the first one better, but I am among the crowd that likes Aliens a little bit better, since it explains on the xenomorph species, while the first film only had like one xenomorph in it. It was kind of more of a survival film. This one is more of a straight up action film where the character is now just badassed. Her way, she is now really developed. It's one of those sequels that really expands on her character arc. A lot. And it has an even better villain, that's the Alien Queen. Another one of the most terrifying creatures in cinema. Now with that being said, let's go with the good qualities of this movie. Well, the good quality is it's incredibly tense because of the new tone. It's now more action-packed than the first film. It still has the horror elements from the first film, but this one's more of a straight-up action movie. Just like the first movie, Ripley is a really likable and strong character. In fact, she's even better in this movie than she was in the first film. Some even other likable side characters, such as Vasquez Hicks, played wonderfully by Lance Henriksen, Hudson, Sergeant Apon, and Drake are very interesting and fun to watch. We also have another character named Newt, who Ripley becomes kind of like this mom figure to, and I really like her and Newt's chemistry in this movie. I think it's really wonderful. Newt's kind of the closest thing Ripley now has to a new daughter, because she kind of lost her other daughter. So I really liked their chemistry in this film, and I really liked their relationship. The film has a roller coaster ride of violence, some excellent practical effects for the xenomorphs in the movie. On a topic of effects, the Alien Queen, which is the biggest puppet ever made for a film and required several people to operate, creating a terrifying creature in the process. And her effects just look amazing. An incredibly suspenseful soundtrack that fits the tone of the movie. And it has good acting from the main cast as well as the supporting cast as well. And the Xenomorphs packed much more of a visceral punch than in the first Alien movie. Since the Xenomorph, there was only like in Alien, there was only the alien eggs, the face hugger, and just one alien really. Yeah, it's kind of like with the tone's kind of like with the Terminator movies. Well, the first Terminator movie was kind of a sci-fi action movie, but it had a number of horror elements in it. It was kind of more of a so it kind of felt more like a horror film than an action film. You know, mostly the first Terminator was meant to be an action movie, and then Terminator 2 has a similar gap to the Alien with this Alien and Aliens, and became more of a straight up action movie. Yeah. Yeah, some astounding and funny catchphrases such as "Game over, man, game over," and it's also an amazing story that follows up on the original film. And it helped popularize the space marine trope in later science fiction media, along with the usage of kinetic weapons in the genre. And it even has some wonderful cinematography that also fits the movie's tone. And Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, she plays Ripley even better in this movie, and she's still as phenomenal as Ripley in this film. And now Ripley is now this absolute badass, even more so in the first film. The first one, she was kind of that gotta survive this whole situation because I know this creature is really deadly and it cannot be trusted and it's coming after me and my crew. She just kind of had to outsmart it. Now she's like really has like matured. She's now this full-on badass. Is not willing to put up with any more shit from the aliens. Is willing to slaughter as many xenomorphs as she can easily, and she even further and it further matures when she basically saves Newt in that epic final battle shots with the alien queen and that machine. And it also has one of the most iconic quotes in cinema, which was what I said at the beginning: "Get away from her, you bitch." Which has become one of the most iconic quotes in science fiction history. And I just love when she faces off against the alien queen. It's a perfect showdown between them, and it's a perfect final battle to finish off the whole xenomorph species. And Jeanette Goldstein was even awesome as Vasquez as well. And now also, what's kind of rare for only a second installment of a franchise, the ending of this movie is really good. Ripley, Newt, and Hicks go into after they defeat the alien queen, and the rest of the aliens are all destroyed for good. They go into hypersleep as their ship prepares to go back to Earth, finally free to live a life together. And the ending pretty much gives Ripley's story arc good closure that lasted permanently. Oh, I wish. But sadly, they made a fucking third, which is going to be next. Speaking of that, let's get on with the two bad qualities of this movie. And those bad qualities would definitely have to be the bad qualities are that some of the side characters like Private Frost, Corporal Furrow, and Private Spunkmeyer don't get enough screen time to be as interesting as some of the other characters. And the other bad quality is, like I've already referenced in the good qualities earlier about Alien 3, the movie sadly got two sequels that are dog shit. And I'm going to be sadly reviewing them next. And Resurrection, this will be my first time watching, because when I first saw Alien 3, I was so pissed at that movie. I never wanted to watch Resurrection. I almost even avoided seeing Covenant in theaters, but I decided to just go see it anyway because I was bored. But yeah, Alien 3 will be next, and that's one of the and I agree with Rambo Raff for Rifle on Alien 3. That's also one of the most hated sequels I've ever seen in my life, and you're gonna see why in that review. Oh, that's not gonna be fun. But despite some shitty sequels that came after this film, Aliens is still one of the best sequels ever made and one of the few rare ones to be better than the first movie. So if you are a fan of the first film and want to see a perfect continuation from what carries on right after the first film ends, definitely give this a watch and then go and buy it for sure and add it to your Blu-ray collection or shelf. And here's how I am going to rank it. I am going to give Aliens a 10 out of 10. Well, that was fun. It was fun getting to review the good stuff. Now we gotta go on to the bad stuff. Whoopee! But yeah. I couldn't really finish Alien. tried to rewatch Alien 3 last night, but then I had such a massive headache I kind of had to go to bed early, so I was able, but now tonight I'm going to be finishing my rewatch of Alien 3 so that I can actually review it tomorrow, and then review Alien Resurrection for the first time, because I never saw that. I have not seen that movie yet. But yeah, and currently rewatching Alien 3 now. Yeah, it's still the shit sequel it was back when I first saw it. But until then, anyway, that will be it for this review. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.